Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Liaquat Zaman. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome to this video. I hope you guys are having a wonderful time. Right, so we are going through Mukhtasar al-Qudoori. If you guys are not familiar with this series, it's basically we're going through a famous Hanafi text which covers all of the, you could say, fiqh or laws pertaining to different topics. So at the moment we're going through fasting. So check out this series, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and let's get on with it. Right, so he says, first of all, questions, right? So what is the timing for a fast? What breaks a fast? If a person uses eye antimony, will that be considered breaking fast? Why does cupping not break fast? If a man kisses his wife and as a result ejaculates, is it considered like intercourse? When is a man allowed to kiss his wife in fasting state? Why is there no kafara if a person eats pieces of metal? And what is the kafara? So that's straightforward. Now let's have a go. Now some of you guys have been saying to me, can you please answer these questions as well at the end? So inshallah I'll try to answer some of the questions as well. Right, waqt means time. Sawm, you guys know. Tulu means to rise. If you want to know more about the timings of salat, check out the beginning of the chapter of salat. Over there I've actually done a very detailed explanation about the salat times. Alright, so imsak means to abstain. Jima' means sexual intercourse. Niya, intention. Jama'a, nasiyan, means forgetful or to forget. Aftara yuftiru, iftar, it means to break. Ihtalama yahtalimu, ihtilam, from the hulm, which means to have a wet dream, nocturnal emission. Anzala yunzilu, inzal, here it means to ejaculate. Iddahana yaddahinu iddihan, from the word duhun, which means to oil, to apply oil. Ihtajama yahtajimu, it means to do cupping. Iktahala yaktahilu iktihal, it means to apply kuhul in the eyes, antimony, which is the kind of like, if you guys know what it is, put it in the comments if you guys know what it is. Alright, so qabbala yuqabbilu, lam yuftir. Qubla, it means a kiss. Lamasa yalmasu means to touch. What else is here? Yukrahu, than that. Dhara'a yadhra'u, it means to have this feeling of sensation of vomiting, right? To vomit. Istaqa, it means to make oneself vomit. You know, when you put your fingers in your mouth or something and you kind of like make yourself vomit. It's called istaqa. So you could say deliberately vomiting. I don't know what would be the best translation for this word. Put it in the comments. Amidan means deliberately. Mil'a fihi means full mouth. Ibtala'a yabtali'u ibtila', it means to swallow. Al-hasat, it means like a pebble. Hadid is like iron or metal. Nawat is like a seed. Sabilain is the two passages, you know, the front passage, which is the urethra or the vagina, and the back passage is the rectum. So we've talked about this in the beginning of Tahara. Check that out. Okay, yutaghazza, taghazza, yataghazza, it means something which nourishes your body, like some food, physical food. And tadawa, yatadawa is something which is used medicinally, dawa. Okay, so medicine. Kafara, right, so this is something which is for expiation. So, waqtu, so mudaf, mudaf ilayh, mubtada. Tulu'i al-fajr al-thani is a sifa of fajr. Ghurub al-shamsi, a new sentence. As-sawmu mubtada, and imsak is khabar, and huwa is the second mubtada. An al-akli wal-shurbi wal-jima'i, akal is the majroor of an. Naharan is the dharf. Ma'a al-niyati, so mudaf mudaf ilayh, new sentence. فإن أكل فعل, صائم is fa'il. Or shariba yashrabu, jama'a yujami'u, all these are fi'ls. Nasiyan is the hal. Lam yuftir, aftara yuftiru, iftar, lam yuftir. Wa innam ihtalama yahtalimu, ihtilam, so fi'l madi. Nadhara, fi'l madi as well, and fa'il as well. So fi'l plus fa'il. Ila imra'atin, fa'anzala yunzilu inzal. Iddahana yaddahinu iddihan. Anyone know why is iddahana? Put it in the comments. And what was it originally? Ihtajama yahtajimu, it means to do cupping, bloodletting. Iktahala yaktahilu, iktihal fi al-fa'il. Okay, this is a mistake, this is a typo. So apologies, get rid of that. It's come twice. So okay, قبل, right, to kiss, that's فعل فاعل. لم يفطر, أفطر يفطر. فإن أنزل بقبلة جار مجرور أو لمس فعليه القضاء. فإن أنزل بقبلة أو لمس. Yeah, that can be لمس or لمس. I think لمس would be better. What do you guys think? Yeah, I think لمس. فإن أنزل بقبلة أو لمس. فإن أنزل بقبلة, yeah, أو لمس. Yeah, لمس would be better. لمس, change that. Make it to لمس. لا كفارة لا بأس is the... Why is it لا كفارة لا بأس? Why is it single fatha? If you know, put in the comments. بالقبلة جار مجرور إذا أمين يأمن, to be safeguarded, فعل فاعل, على نفسه, ويكره إن لم يأمن, فعل فاعل, وإن ذرعه القيء, that's فعل فاعل, لم يفطر, again فعل فاعل, وإن استقاء يستقيء استيقاء, استقاء يستقيء استقاء. Yeah. Okay. عامدا is the حال. ملء فيه is مضاف مضاف إليه is the حال as well. فعليه القضاء, عليه is the خبر مقدم, القضاء is the مبتدأ مؤخر. ومن ابتلع الحصاد مفعول به, أو الحديد مفعول به عطف onto there. النواة أفطر وقضى. ومن جامع في الفاعل عامدا is the حال. في أحد السبيلين, أو أكل أو شرب ما يتغذى. So this would be فعل مجهول بس نائب فاعل, أو يتغذى به. فعليه خبر مقدم, القضاء مبتدأ مؤخر, والكفارة عطف onto القضاء. والكفارة مبتدأ مثل, yeah, it should be مثل. Let me change that. مثل. Okay, so that's khabar and that's it. There you have it. Right, let's look at the masail. So today's masail, what are we talking about? So first of all, let's discuss this issue of time. What time does fast start? What time does it end? So remember, fast starts before Fajr. As soon as Fajr starts, that's the time that fast starts, until the sun sets. Maghrib time, basically. Right, so that's basically your fast day. Yeah, that's the timing of your fast, from the beginning of Fajr all the way till Maghrib starts. So it's not at sunrise time. Okay, sunrise is actually later than Fajr, so don't get that confused. And it's not sunset. Sunset is when the sun is still setting. It's actually when the sun has fully gone below the horizon. So if you remember, if you watch the videos that I've made on the beginning of Salat times, I've actually explained it in a lot of detail there about what it means for Maghrib to start. So therefore, basically it starts here. Fast starts there. And before this, this is what we call the suhoor time. Yeah, sehri, suhoor. Yeah. So that's basically your timing. Now, this website, I told you, this website in the beginning of Salat time, I showed you. This, you can work out, you know, your kind of Salat times roughly from this website. So you see, when it tells you the daylight time, it actually tells you from sunrise to sunset. That's not what we want. Right, so what we want is basically, so it's, we want it actually from night. Right, so if we go up to night there, so it's about there, then 5:49, well, that's today's, right, all the way until 5:49. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so exactly 12 hours fast is. Yeah, and there you have it. Yeah, so that would be the fast today, that would be. And you'd obviously check this according to, and this would be second Fajr starting. So again, if you want more details how to use this website, I've actually included it in the beginning of the chapter of Salat, where I talk about Salat times, and you can just look at it. It's a really interesting website that helps with a lot of understanding how Salat times work. Alright, so وَوَقْتُ الصَّوْمِ, the time of fast, min is from طُلُوء الْفَجْرِ الثَّانِي, the starting of the second Fajr. Now, the second Fajr, I've explained that also in the beginning of Salat time. إِلَى غُرُوبِ الشَّمْسِ, and to the ghurub, setting of the sun. Okay, next. What is a fast? So before we actually do that, let me just make this a bit more clear for you guys. So here is where the sun sets, dips below the horizon, has fully disappeared. Well, that's the sun setting below the horizon. And then, yeah, okay. Fast. What is it? What literally is a fast? A fast is just doing three things. Number one, don't eat. Number two, don't drink. And number three, don't have vaginal intercourse. That's basically what fast is. So vaginal penetration, that's what the fast is. So staying away, imsak, what we call imsak, stay away from these three things throughout the day with intention of fast, and your fast is done. Yeah. So what do we mean by that? What we mean basically is let's say, for example, like, or so, let me translate this first. As-sawmus, fasting, is imsak, abstaining from eating, drinking and sexual intercourse, naharan, in the day, man niyati. So here's, I'm explaining it here. So niyati basically works like this. Imagine there is a guy, right, and he, actually, let me just, he sleeps. I want to mention it over here so we can fit it in with this nice image that I've drawn. So this is Maghrib time. I remember last lesson we mentioned about when you can actually start making your intention. You can make your intention from after Maghrib. Right, after Maghrib, right, that's when the intention starts. So let's say a guy goes to sleep before Maghrib. Yeah, he's knocked out, gone to sleep, and he wakes up, later in the day, just before Maghrib. That person's fast will not be counted because he had to have been conscious and thought about him fasting the next day. So his intention is not going to be accepted. Right, so therefore, all this time over here has been spent without intention, and therefore the fast is not done. All right, so there has to be, from Maghrib time, there has to be some sort of intention there. Okay, so that's the definition of fast, and I mentioned this to you last lesson as well. Now let's look at this next part now. So we want to understand, like, there's different scenarios that occur when a person's fasting and they consume something, they eat something. So how do we deal with this kind of situation? Because sometimes, there's a person, and you probably experience it yourself. A person has eaten something, but they've done it forgetfully, right? So if you do anything forgetfully whilst you're fasting, remember, it does not break your fast. What does forgetfully mean? Forgetfully means that you forgot that you were fasting. You totally slipped your mind that you were fasting. You went to the fridge, you took something out, you ate it, right? You filled your stomach, or you drank something, or you even had sexual intercourse and you totally forgot that you were fasting. Then your fast has not broken. It should break, isn't it? Because something has gone into your body, eating, drinking, or sexual intercourse has occurred. But fast will not break, right? So, okay, so how should I do this? All right, let me show you this guy. Let's say this guy, he ate in the daytime, yeah, forgetfully, that he forgot that he was fasting. Does his fast break? No, because the Prophet ﷺ said that the one who eats forgetfully, then it's as though it's like a gift from Allah. Allah has fed him, right? Then he's fast, he continues with his fast. Yeah, so, فَإِنْ أَكَلَ الصَّائِمِ, if a fasting person, أكل الصائم or shariba or drank or jama'a or even has sexual intercourse, nasiyan, forgetfully, lam yuftir, he does not break his fast. Now we want to ask some other questions now. So let's just write these down over here so that we can just like cross check them with the others. So if a person eats forgetfully, does his fast break? No. Let's write down no. If he drinks, no. If he has sexual intercourse, no. All right, that's straightforward. But what if it's not straightforward as that? What if a person has a wet dream? So a wet dream is it sexual intercourse? Because you do have an orgasm when you have a wet dream, but is it really sexual intercourse? Is there really like the same kind of like concept occurring with this? And likewise, what if a person was to ejaculate without touching? I don't know, maybe he looks at a woman and he's sexually aroused, and that just causes him to automatically just ejaculate without even touching her or touching his own body. It just happens. So has sexual intercourse occurred? Would you say that falls under sexual intercourse? So Hanafi say no, it will not break your fast, right? Because there was no intervention on your behalf. Physically, you were not in control, and therefore it does not break your fast. So in nama, if a person was to sleep, fahtalama, and has ihtilam, which means a nocturnal emission, has an ejaculation, right? Has a wet dream, wakes up in the morning, finds wetness around the underwear. أو نظر إلى امرأة, or he looks at a woman, فأنزل, and has an orgasm, right? Meaning ejaculates. So he doesn't touch his body, but he just looks at a woman, sexually gets aroused, and then has this. Right? Then his fast does not break. So, okay, we've understood that we want to differentiate certain things that are sexually related, but they don't fall under sexual intercourse. We want to differentiate between those things that do and those things that don't. So we've already identified two things here. Now let's look at some other points, right, that do not really fall under eating and drinking, right? So what kind of things don't fall under eating and drinking? So, okay, what if a person does cupping? Cupping is basically you get your skin and they put these cups on your skin, and then I'll show you an image over here, but I think you get the point. They put cups on your skin and then they suck the air out, and then they make little cuts, put the cup back on, and then they suck out the blood. So you're literally blood's coming out. So cupping shouldn't break the fast. Why? Because fast only breaks when something goes in your body, right? Apart from obviously sexual intercourse where you're inserting one part of the body into another. But literally it's when something goes in your body. So blood coming out your body should not break your fast. Right, so that's straightforward. What about eye drops? Yeah, or eye makeup, like antimony, or eye drops you put in your eyes. So something is going in your body. We definitely know that. But it's not going through the normal orifice. The normal orifice is the mouth, the nose, and the private parts. Those are the normal orifices. So if something enters the body not through the normal orifice, your fast does not break. Okay. So what about kissing? Kissing doesn't break your fast unless a man was to kiss someone and ejaculate. So if a person kisses his wife and it does not result in ejaculation, then his fast is fine. Yeah. So here's where they kind of discuss this kissing issue as being similar to sexual intercourse. If you kiss a woman and you ejaculate, it's closer to sexual intercourse than a wet dream, because you had some intervention there, right? So that's why they say fast breaks. Okay, so cupping, or one more. What about oiling, putting oils on your skin or putting oil on your hair? Would that break your fast or not? So, okay, oil kind of gets absorbed into the skin, doesn't it? Yeah, it gets absorbed into the skin, but it doesn't really enter through one of the orifices. So it doesn't break your fast, because we know the Prophet ﷺ companions used to use oils in their fasting time, and they used to take showers, and water clearly was absorbed into the skin, but that isn't really kind of something which breaks the fast. And this rule, some of the scholars use it for the injections as well. Having an injection, because all these patches that you put on your skin absorb, that doesn't break your fast because it's not going through the normal orifice. So no, right, no. Okay, so let's have a check of this. So he says, "O iddahana," or a person has puts oil on their skin or hair, or ihtajama, or has cupping done, or iktahala, puts antimony in their eyes or eye drops, or qabbala, and or kisses, or lam yuftir, does not break his fast. Yeah. فَإِنْ أَنزَلَ بِقُبْلَةٍ, what if he kisses and he has ejaculation? We said that is more resembling to sexual intercourse. Now let me make a little diagram for you guys, so it becomes easier to differentiate between the kind of things that break your fast, the kind of things that don't break your fast, and the kind of things that necessitate something called kafara, right? Like a compensation. So three things: eating, drinking, and vaginal intercourse are no-nos, right? They will break your fast if you do them. However, there's four kind of like situations that we can sort of like map this out into. So what are the four situations? Number one, if you've done it forgetfully, right? Number two, if you've done something accidentally, like let's say for example, you're gargling water, you're doing wudu, and you accidentally swallowed some water. You're fasting, but it's accidental, so it's different. And then deliberately, plus you done a full offense, you committed a full offense. So full offense would be eating something full that you normally eat, or medicine, or sexual intercourse fully into the vagina. That would be a full offense. So anything that's a full offense and done deliberately will necessitate kafara as well. Break your fast and kafara. So accidental, forgetful, deliberate, and full offense. And then we have one more, which is basically just deliberate but not full offense. So you're doing it deliberately, but it's not a full offense. What's a deliberate and not a full offense? This is interesting. It's an interesting sort of like issue to look at. So first of all, if a person does it deliberately and commits the full offense, when we say full offense, we mean someone ate something knowing they're fasting, and they fully ate something, something that goes down the throat. Fast breaks plus kafara, because they committed an offense. They've done like a very bad thing, so they've got to make up for it, right? So compensation. If you do it forgetfully, nothing happens to your fast. But if you do it deliberately, then it does. Accidental, only have to do qada. Your fast breaks, but there's no offense committed because you did it accidentally. Allah doesn't hold you for accidents. So you have to make up your fast because it's broken. And if you do it without fully kind of like committing the act, fully eating or fully drinking. When we say full, we don't mean a full meal. So let me give you some examples of this. Okay, so that's the kafara one, and nothing else is kafara. So let's say, for example, kissing. Person kisses someone or touches them and ejaculates, right? Would you have to... So this is not full kind of sexual like gratification. It's partial, so we would say you only have to do qada, no kafara. So it's not a full offense. Okay. Are you allowed to kiss someone in Ramadan? Are you allowed to kiss your wife in Ramadan? Right? Yes, you can, as long as you feel that it's not going to lead to sexual intercourse. Right? That's the key there, you can say. All right. Next. So we've done that one. What if a person is going to kiss his wife, but then feels that if I kiss my wife, it's going to lead me to have sexual intercourse, like I can't control myself? Then it's considered sinful, wrong for them to kiss their wife in the fasting state, because they know it's going to most likely lead to something else. All right. Okay. Now, what about other things as well? So, for instance, like let's say, what if a person was to vomit? Does vomit break your fast? Well, it shouldn't, should it? Because it's something coming out of your body. Vomit should not break your fast. But yes, if a person deliberately vomits a mouthful, like puts their fingers down their mouth and like, one of those ones, then that is, the Prophet ﷺ, he told that person off who does that and said their fast breaks. So that's why the Hanafi say, because of this hadith, we would say the fast breaks, not because they have eaten something, but because they have gone against the Prophet ﷺ in that sense. Okay, what about eating a stone or metal, something you don't really eat, like a piece of marble or a piece of something random, plastic, you swallow that. So obviously something's gone down the throat, so your fast is broken. But do you have to give kafara? No kafara. Yeah, because it's not something fully kind of like experiencing the breaking of the fast. Okay, so what about vaginal intercourse? What if someone has rectal intercourse? Will that necessitate kafara? Yes, they say yes. So vaginal intercourse, rectal intercourse will necessitate kafara. Although rectal intercourse is sinful, you're not allowed to do that. But if a person did do it in the fasting state, then yes, qada and kafara as well. What about eating? So anything that is edible, meaning something that nourishes your body normally, it can be a seed, it can be breadcrumbs, it can be anything, will break your fast. And even medicine, tablet, or even a little sip of medicine would break your fast. Yeah, and kafara as well. Now, if a person took medicine because they were ill, then that's no. The fast breaks, but it's a genuine reason, genuine need. So therefore, it's not an offense. So only qada, no kafara. Okay, that's going to come a bit later. فَإِنْ أَنزَلَ, if a person was to have ejaculation بِقُبْلَةٍ due to kissing or due to touching, we change that word into lamsin. فَعَلَيْهِ الْقَضَى, then he has to give qada. وَلَا كَفَارَ, no kafara upon him. وَلَا بَأْسَ, and there is nothing wrong بالقبلة, for a man to kiss or a woman to kiss, إِذَا أَمِنَ, when they feel safe upon themselves from sexual intercourse. وَيُكْرَهُ, however, it's considered to be highly offensive in lam ya'man, if a person does not feel safe. Okay, وَإِنْ ذَرَعَهُ الْقَيْء, if a person has the urge of a vomit, or he has some sort of like vomiting, وَلَمْ يُفْتِرْ, لَمْ يُفْتِرْ, he will not break his fast. وَإِنْ اسْتَقَاءَ, if a person was to deliberately make themselves vomit a full mouth, then عليه القضاء, he has to give قضاء. Yeah, عليه القضاء, that's the jaza. فعليه القضاء. ومن ابتلع, whoever swallows a hasat, pebble, or الحديد, or a piece of metal or iron, Or nawat, like a seed or something. Like a seed is like, something you don't really eat. Aftara, he'll break his fast. Wa qada, and he does qada. Yeah. Right. So, وَمَنْ جَامَعَ, whoever has sexual intercourse deliberately, في أحد السبيلين, in one of the two passages, أو أكل, or ate, or shariba, so ate, drink, vaginal intercourse, or rectal, or shariba, ما يتغذى, that which is normally nourished, that normally people eat, right? Or يتداوى به, or normally people use it for medicine, فعليه القضاء, he has to do qada. والكفارة, and kafara. What is kafara? Finally, kafara of zihar, I mentioned this before, is basically, the Quran mentions that it is a man and he is married to a woman and he says to his wife, let's say for example one day he says, your back resembles the back of my mother. That's a disrespect to his wife and to his mother as well, right? Because he's not supposed to be looking at his mother's back, and so therefore he now has fallen into the ruling of zihar. So to get out of this, he basically has to do one of three things: either free a slave if he has one, number two, or he's going to have to fast for 2 months consecutively, or number three, he has to feed 60 poor people. Yeah, so in this order. So this is basically kafara. If you break your fast deliberately, the offense that has been committed is so bad that you got to do the severe things to make up for it, right? And that's it basically. So that's today's lesson: timing of salat, what breaks your fast, and there you go. So back to the questions then. Let's have a look at these questions that you guys have. So what is the timings for fasting? What's the timings? You should know that. Okay, so from Fajr all the way to the end, to Maghrib. What breaks a fast? So I've just showed you on the board. You can go back, you can check it out, things that break your fast. If a person uses eye antimony, will that be considered breaking fast? Will it? Answer is no. Why does cupping not break fast? So we said, because cupping is something which is not putting in the body, it's coming out the body, and that doesn't break your fast. If a man kisses his wife and as a result ejaculates, is that considered like intercourse? So we said, yeah, kind of, so therefore there's qada, but no, so there's no kafara. When is a man allowed to kiss his wife in fasting state? Answer to that is if he feels safe that it's not going to lead to sexual intercourse. And why is there no kafara if a person eats pieces of metal? Because we said that this isn't something normally eaten, so it doesn't like kind of fully commit the offense. And what is the kafara? We mentioned the three things: freeing a slave, fasting 2 months consecutively, and 60 days off, feeding 60 people. That's it. So jazakumullah khair guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you very much. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this and your thoughts as well on these masail that come to your mind. And thank you to my patrons for all your support, guys. It really means a lot to me, your support. If any of you guys think that the work that I do is something which is really good and you enjoy it, share it with other people, and also consider becoming a patron, supporting my channel. You can support my channel with even $1, £1 a month, whatever you think you can give, and it helps me a lot to be able to produce this kind of video. So jazakumullah khair. I will see you guys next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.